live in Studio C, your day-to-day BYU sports play-by-play. Jarom Jordan alongside Jason Shepard. Let's welcome in four-year NFL vet, all Mountain West Conference linebacker. He had pick sixes against Wyoming and other teams. His name is David Nixon. David, what up, man? How you doing?
What's up, guys? Great to talk to you. Welcome. Monday morning and fall camp has started.
I know.
What else be better?
You can smell it. Okay, last week we were talking about revenge games in BYU history. 06 TCU came up. You had one of the most pivotal plays in any revenge game ever, strip sacking Jeff Ballard in 06 at TCU. That was a huge play, man. What do you remember from that? Because that turned that season.
Yeah, it was my sophomore year, so I was kind of fresh off a mission. We were going up against those guys, and they were driving. It was a fun game because, home state of Texas, so I was home. But they were driving us. It was kind of a back and forth game, and they were on, I think, our 7-yard line. And anyways, I got a good jump off the ball and was able to beat the tackle around the edge. And then, you're always taught to. It's one thing to hit the quarterback, it's another thing to try to strip sack them. And so, I went after the ball and knocked him. And Russell Tialavea came up with the fumble. And then John Beck took us 93 yards back the other way and scored. And we kept cruising from there. So I look back at that, not necessarily my play per se, but that game and kind of the trajectory that put BYU football in the Bronco Mendenhall era on from there on out. It's kind of a pivotal game that we did, and we fortunately go on to win the Mountain West Conference that year, win the Mountain West Conference the next year. So it was kind of one of those momentum type building games, and it was fun to be part of that play, obviously.
Let's keep talking about rivalries, but let's go conference versus conference. There's been a lot of stuff going back and forth. You have one commissioner saying we're open for business. You have another commissioner saying, well, we're not sure if we're ready to go shopping. What do you make of this perceived Big 12 versus Pac-12 rivalry that's going on right now?
Listen, if you're the Pac-12 commissioner, what else are you going to say? When I read his comments, I thought, if I was him, I'd probably be saying the same thing. Like, let me go on the offensive and say that I might start going shopping, right? So I don't think he has much of an option at this point. I think he's trying to bluff a little bit. But, the fact is, the now Pac-10, it is what it is. But you've got Oregon and Washington who keep flirting with the Big Ten. They've expressed interest in leaving. There's new reports every week of maybe Cal, Stanford as well teaming up and going somewhere. And so I think the Pac-10 is in a world of hurt right now. Big 12, I think, is pretty steady. You don't hear a lot of reports of teams looking to go to the Pac-10. And so, I kind of believe that smoke that's out there. I wasn't too surprised by those words of the Pac-12 commissioner, Pac-10, whatever you want to call him now. But I like the Big 12's, standpoint here. It's, hey, we're proceeding with the teams we have. Yeah, we might look to add, we might not. We'll see what happens. But feel pretty confident with the whole conference we have right now as a whole.
It's a BYU versus Utah thing too, because BYU wants to win and vice versa with Utah. Any conversation there? Oh, we want our new TV contract to be larger than yours, and da 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 da. When it comes down to this, do you like this kind of rivalry that's going on, or do you want Utah in the league later, or would you prefer that they be separated in different leagues like this?
Listen, as much as we all hate the Utes, I'm joking, I'm not joking, right? Kind of. You would love to see them be relegated to the Mountain West or something, just what BYU had to face with for years.
That's not happening.
But in all seriousness, you ask any former U player, any former BYU player, the rivalry game was by far the best game of the season every year. And I played against USC, Notre Dame. We played some pretty cool teams while I was there, but everyone always looked forward to that Utah game. And so there's some way ADs, commissioners can find a way to get Utah back in the conference with BYU. I think that's a huge win. And once again, I know selfishly you like to see them suffer, but in all reality, I think it'd be fantastic for them in the same conference and re-spark that rivalry that means so much. I'm telling you, players love it. I think fans, we love it. And so you got to find a way to make it happen. But in the meantime, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I think Utah at this point with the program they built, frankly, they're now one of those pillars in that conference with what they've done these last 5-6 years. And so I think if they leave, it starts to crumble even more, that conference. So I think that they're weighing that out. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I mean, there's new news coming out every day, it feels like, of different teams shifting or talks or whatever it may be. So we'll see. We'll see what news breaks here soon.
Well, and all of the news that we're getting, look, it will always be big news, but at least we're going to have some on-the-field stuff to talk about. And it starts this week. Fall camp officially getting underway. Players will report on Wednesday. First practice is on Thursday. I know there are a lot of storylines that people are following going in. What's maybe the biggest one you're following heading into this season in this camp?
I just love this team. You look down the roster and you look at offensively what BYU brings back 80% of their production. Defensively, they bring back 97% of their production. So as a whole, the whole team's 88%. I mean, this is a very veteran team, a team that went 10-3 last year. Asterisk next to the bowl game. I think that's a throwaway, but you have a 10-digit win season and a team that, frankly, everyone kind of slept on last season as well. And you have a veteran quarterback coming back. Man, I love this team. I think Vegas said the over/under at 8.5, assuming guys stay healthy, which is a big if. I think if you take the over every day of the week, and I get that this schedule is tougher than last year. Yeah, last year had more P5s. This year has less, but tougher P5s. But I love this team, and having seen them during spring ball, run into the guys during summer camps and whatnot. They look great, and I'm confident these guys will go out there and perform, and it's going to be a really, really fun season. The big thing is just keeping guys healthy throughout fall camp. Can't let guys get injured, beat each other up, but find a way to manage them and roll into that first game against USF. I'm excited. I think this team has a lot of potential, and the question is, can they stay healthy? If they do, man, the sky's the limit.
And you've got a nephew on the squad, right? Soon to be 2?
That's right. Yeah, Michael Daly. He's backing up Peely, a middle backer. So I've talked to him quite a bit too, and he's bullish on the team too. He's like, man, we've got some great horses out there. He's pretty excited about their front 7 as well. So I think that's because the biggest question mark is that front 7. We saw what Baylor did to BYU last year. They were averaging, I think it was like 6, 7, 8 yards a carry. BYU's got to find a way to stop the run. And so my biggest question mark heading to camp is that front 7. Can guys be healthy? And on top of that, can specifically those front 3 linemen, can they produce and stop the run? That's the biggest question mark. Because I think the back end, BYU's back end secondary, this might be one of the most veteran secondaries they've ever returned. And so I'm not too worried about the back end. It's more the front end and that front 7.
I'm to the point with all the returning talent from a very good BYU team that faced the schedule that no other BYU team had faced in that many Power 5s and that many, right? BYU had played, 7 in 2013, but it was a young group. This was a veteran group. I'm to the point where 9-4 better be the minimum. And then the ceiling's probably like 11-2. How do you feel about it? How do you quantify it?
Yeah, listen, to your point, this is a team that's already faced all these P5s. So you roll in against these P5s, it's not like they're scared or they're worried. They've kind of been there, done that already. And they beat a lot of those P5s. I mean, you go undefeated against the Pac-12 last year. And so I think the confidence for these guys is right high. And I think a lot of these now are upperclassmen. So now they can go and teach the younger kids, hey, this is how we do it. We roll in. This is the way we approach the games, our mindset. And this is how we go in and execute. And so, I think all of the previous years, these tough schedules we always face are going to pay dividends this year.
Yeah.
And I think all that kind of rolls up into this season. And once again, when you have a veteran quarterback, a guy who knows to take care of the ball and knows how to win the big games, man, that's huge. And then you got the role players around them, the offensive line, which is, once again, one of the best offensive lines in the country. So they're going to protect them. You'll have time to distribute the ball to Puka and the rest of the crowd. It's exciting.
Well, David, I mean, you touched on the defense a few minutes ago, but I even remember during media day, Elisa Tuiaki said he feels like this team is 3 deep at every position, and that included the defensive line. And you said it, you got to stay healthy. I mean, if they're looking at that side of the ball and looking at the talent and saying that they're 3 deep, what type of expectations do you have overall for what could be possible for this defense?
Well, I'll trust Tuiaki on this one. Once again, he's been around the guys, obviously much more than I have. But when you get 3 deep, the ability to rotate guys in and out is huge. I mean, you tell your guys, you train them, listen, you got 2, maybe 3 plays, and you're out of here. So you better go full speed when you're out there on the field. I think that adds a little bit of an element to those guys to get them up and going. So me personally, I never want to leave the field. And honestly, I think backers and secondary should play all series. But those linemen, that's a tough job. When you're firing out the ball and when you're banging heads with those offensive linemen, you exert a lot of energy. And so I think if they can go in and rotate those guys out every 2-3 plays and keep them fresh, and if you really are 3 deep, like Tudaki says, man, that's also big, because that's BYU was not 2 or 3 deep last year. Let's face it, they struggled to have some depth, but that is a nice thing. If there is a silver lining when guys go down with injuries, is you get these younger guys that come in and contribute, and now they have game experience that you can lean on going forward. And so I think that was one of the nice takeaways from last year with everyone getting injured, is that all these young guys got to play, and now they'll be ready for the season too. So depth is huge, and that's something we got to continue to improve as you head into Big 12 play. You got to have that depth.
We're talking to former Dolphin David Nixon. I'm just going to throw in like one of the teams every time we reset with you in the future.
There's quite a few. Yeah, you'll stay busy throwing out teams.
Fall camp contributor with the Carolina Panthers, David Nixon, is on BYU Sports Nation. What would shock you about this season or this team? Either way, positively or negatively, what would shock you?
Honestly, positively, as I mentioned earlier, I think the sky's the limit. I wouldn't be that shocked if BYU gets to 10, 11 wins this year. I really wouldn't. I think for me, shocking would be if something happened where BYU doesn't make a bowl game. That would be very shocking to me, given the returning production and giving senior quarterback, et cetera. So I think not making a bowl game would be shocking to me. But I expect BYU to be competitive. I think they'll be competitive in every game. I don't see a game where BYU will get blown out. And I think I'm more interested in anything, because of the caliber of P5s BYU's facing, is how week by week how the opponents are going to match up with BYU. Are these going to be top 20 matchups? Are they going to be top 15 matchups? If BYU can take care of business, can Oregon and Notre Dame and some of these other schools take care of business? And that's what's going to be fun this season, is kind of tracking the opponents, see how well they do, and line it up to when BYU faces them, and see if you can't get some top 10, top 15, top 20 matchups, showdowns. It's going to be pretty fun.
Another week of AFR tomorrow. We mentioned that you guys are going to be showing all of the touchdowns. First of all, is that going to give you guys even enough time to talk? I mean, the game against Virginia alone is going to take up the bulk of the time. What can the fans expect when they tune into AFR tomorrow?
Hey, it's going to be a blast. Listen, is there anything better than recapping touchdowns? As a defensive guy, I hate it, right? I mean, I feel like we should be just recapping tackles the whole time. But, I don't write the show. So I just show up and I just do my thing. But, yeah, touchdowns galore tomorrow. It'll be fun. I mean, this is fun for us because we're now getting geared up. AFR and BYU Sports Nation, all the shows of BYUtv are geared up for the season. This is just one more show to throw in there and get excited and get hyped for the season, because football season is finally here. Like you said, guys report this week to camp. Man, it's fun. I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome, David. We appreciate the time. Former Texan David Nixon on BYU Sports Nation. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. See you guys.